So we are reading from the Bhagavad-Gita as it is, 17th chapter, entitled The Divisions of Faith, text number 3. Sattvanurupa sarvasya Shraddha bhavati bharata Shraddhamayo yam purusho Yo yat shraddha sa eva sa Sattva anurupa, according to the existence sarvasya, of everyone, Shraddha, faith, bhavati, becomes, Bharata, O son of Bharat, Shraddha, faith, Maya, full of, I am this, Purusha, living entity, Ya, who, Yat, having which, Shraddha, faith, Sa, thus, Eva, certainly, Sa, he. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation: O son of Bharat, according to one's existence under the various modes of nature, one evolves a particular kind of faith. The living being is said to be of a particular faith according to the modes he has acquired. Purport: everyone has a particular type of faith, regardless of what he is. But his faith is considered good, passionate, or ignorant, according to the nature he has acquired. Thus, according to his particular type of faith, one associates with certain persons. Now, the real fact is that every living being, as is stated in the 15th chapter, is originally a fragmental part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, one is originally transcendental to all the modes of material nature. But when one forgets his relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and comes into contact with the material nature, in conditional life, he generates his own position by association with the different varieties of material nature. The resultant artificial faith and existence are only material. Although one may be conducted by some impression or some conception of life, originally he is nirgun or transcendental. Therefore, one has to become cleansed of the material contamination that he has acquired in order to regain his relationship with the Supreme Lord. That is the only path back without fear. Krishna consciousness. If one is situated in Krishna consciousness, then that path is guaranteed for his elevation to the perfectional stage. If one does not take to this path of self-realization, then he is surely to be conducted by the influence of the modes of nature. The word Shraddha, or faith, is very significant in this verse. Shraddha, or faith, originally comes out of the mode of goodness. One's faith may be in a demigod or some created god or some mental concoction. One's strong faith is supposed to be productive of works of material goodness. But in material conditioned life, no works are completely purified. They are mixed. They are not in pure goodness. Pure goodness is transcendental. In purified goodness, one can understand the real nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As long as one's faith is not completely in purified goodness, the faith is subjected to contamination by any of the modes of material nature. The contaminated modes of material nature expand to the heart. Therefore, according to the position of the heart in contact with a particular mode of material nature, one's faith is established. It should be understood that if one's heart is in the mode of goodness, his faith is also in the mode of goodness. If his heart is in the mode of passion, his faith is also in the mode of passion. And if his heart is in the mode of darkness, illusion, his faith is also thus contaminated. Thus we find different types of faith in this world, and there are different types of religions due to different types of faith. The real principle of religious faith is situated in the mode of pure goodness. But because the heart is tainted, we find different types of religious principles. Thus, according to different types of faith, there are different kinds of worship. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshuran Meritam Yanam Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Sayam Rupagadamayam Tadati Sapadantikam Bandeham Sri Guru Sri Utapatakamalans Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagarajatam Sahagana Raganatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanvidamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavane Share Vrishabhano Sude Devi Pranamami Hare Priya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Paditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Sattvanurupa sarvasya shraddha bhavati bharata sadamayayam purusho yo yat shraddha sa eva sa. O son of Bharata, according to one's existence, under the various modes of nature, one evolves a particular kind of faith. The living being is said to be of a particular faith according to the modes he has acquired. In this chapter here, Arjuna asked Krishna about those people who are following the principles of the scriptures, religion, but they are worshipping according to their own imagination. So then he's asking, are they in goodness, in passion, or ignorance? And so Krishna is replying that according to the modes one is acquired in this material world, one's faith will be of three kinds: faith in goodness, in passion, and in ignorance. And now he is explaining in the next verses about those in the mode of goodness, those in the mode of passion, and those in the mode of ignorance. And in this particular verse, he is explaining specifically about the faith according to sattva anurupa. Sattva here according to one's existence. And Prabhupada is explaining in the purport that ultimately all the living entities are part and parcels of Krishna. In the 15th chapter, verse number 7, he has clearly explained that the living entities in this material world, Mamevam sujiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manasastra-indriyani prakristani karshati. They are my part and parcels, but they are struggling in this material world due to the mind and senses being conditioned by the three modes of material nature. But everyone by nature is completely separate from this material existence, from the material body, gross and subtle. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, as explained here by Prabhupada, is completely pure. His nature is transcendental. His spiritual nature is transcendental to this material world. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha Anadi Radir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Krishna is Paramishwar, the Supreme Controller, the Supreme Being, Purushottam, the source of everything. And himself in the Bhagavad-Gita has explained, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. The intelligent persons, they understand that I am the source of everything. And throughout the Vedic literatures, that is established. So the living entity who is part and parcel of Krishna, he has the same nature as the Lord, Satchidananda Swarup. The living entity is eternal. Chinamai is conscious of the Supreme Being, Krishna. Is endowed with knowledge, transcendental knowledge. And Ananda is full of bliss. because he is connected to the source of everything, the source of all bliss, Paramananda, the greatest bliss, transcendental bliss. And those who are properly situated, they have full faith in the Lord and they are fully engaged in the service of the Lord. At this point we should understand there are actually two kinds of living entities. As Krishna has explained in the 15th chapter, the same 15th chapters and at the end, and that there are two kinds of living entities. Kshara Akshar. And that the Supreme Lord is there also, Purushottam, and that is transcendently situated. So Kshara and Akshar means those who are infallible and those who are fallible. And that has been explained in different places in the Vedic literatures and by our acharyas. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself has explained. And specifically Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he has established this fact. And in his book Jaiva Dharma, or there he has explained, and in other presentation, Dashamula Tattva. Dashamul, the 10 mul, the root tattvas, truth, which are to be understood. And he has explained that Amnaya Praha Tattvam Iha Paramam Sarvasaktim Rasabdim. The Vedic literatures have explained Amnaya. They have proclaimed that the absolute truth, that is Krishna, certainly. Sarvashaktim Rasabadim is the source of all energies, potencies, the source of everything. Rasabadim, and he is an ocean of transcendental mellows, ras. As we know the relationship with the Lord, that is known, then when the eternal relationship is established, that is known as ras. Madhurya ras, Vatsalya ras, Sakya ras, Dasya ras. And Srila Prabhupada in the introduction to the Bhagavad-Gita, wonderful introduction, long introduction but very substantial, and there in the beginning he has explained about these 5 rasas, and that ultimately the goal of life is to understand the relationship with Krishna, the eternal relationship of the living entity with Krishna. That is known as Sarup Gat or Sarup Siddhi. So then it is explained in the Bhagavad-Gita, and Mahaprabhu has explained, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Prabhupada, so 2 living entities are there. Nitya Siddha, Nitya Bada, those who are eternally connected to Krishna, perfect, eternally perfect, established in the service of the Lord. And those who are, since time immemorial, Baddha, conditioned, but they are also eternal servants of Krishna, but they are not directly engaged in the service of the Lord. It is in dormant state. And when this material world is coming into existence, then the conditioned living entities, they come in this world, and then by the mercy of the Lord and His representatives, they have the opportunity to understand their eternal nature. And by following the principles as mentioned in the scriptures, the Bhagavad-Gita, or as presented by the acharyas, which is according to the scriptures, then they have the opportunity to gradually realize their spiritual nature and relationship with the Supreme Being, with Krishna. As also in the previous chapter, it has been explained that one has to follow Shastra. And in this chapter also, one must follow the scriptures. Otherwise one will not be able to understand these principles. The transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord and of the living entity and the relationship, and the permanent nature of the spiritual realm and the impermanent nature of the material realm. And so, as Arjuna is asking of those persons who are accepting the fact that we should follow the scriptures, but still they are not completely able to understand the purport of the scriptures, and therefore they sometimes act according to their own imagination. So this clearly understand that this is not the right situation, and that means their faith is not transcendental, but it is mixed with the modes of material nature. And therefore, as explained here, then the faith is known as faith in the mode of goodness, passion and ignorance. Ignorant faith. Therefore it is explained in the scriptures and by the acharyas that we should come to the transcendental plane. And as just explained, so the Nityasiddha, they are always perfectly situated, and their faith is unshakable. Their faith is transcendental. Paramartik Shraddha. It is transcendental faith. Whereas those who are not properly situated, so they have Lokik Shraddha. They have ordinary faith. That is material faith. It may be goodness, passion and ignorant, or in ignorance. But it is Lokik, it is material. So even if one is coming to the path of devotional service, in the beginning the faith is not pure. It is not strong. It is explained as Komal Shraddha. Komal means it is very soft. It can be shaken. Because they are not pure in existence. Either they may be in goodness, in passion and ignorance. So at least one has to try to come to the platform of goodness, and one has to try to become free from the mode of passion and ignorance. One has to try, but it will take some time to be firmly situated in goodness, because the contamination is very strong, the modes of material nature are strong, and to surpass them is practically, by one's own strength it is not possible. Only by surrender and by the mercy of Sri Guru, Gauranga and Krishna it is possible to be firmly situated on the transcendental platform. And then Driya Vishwas is there, strong faith is there, which cannot be shaken. But one has to try one's level best to be properly situated in having strong faith. Shraddha, that is the beginning of spiritual life. Shraddha, to have faith in the process, in the spiritual master, in the scriptures, in the Supreme Lord. And in the association of the sadhus, then it becomes more strong. And if one is following the instructions of the sadhus and the scriptures, then it becomes even more strong and it becomes pure. But it will take time, as explained by the acharyas, and as we know, the different levels of devotional progress, Shraddha, Sadhusanga, Bhajana Kriya. In the association of the sadhus, one can engage in devotional service. But then comes Anatta Nivriti, the clearing stage. One becomes free from unwanted things. Asat Trishna, being attached to this material world, to the impermanent things of this world. Even though one has knowledge. And then Hridaya Dorbalyam, the weakness of heart. One wants to advance more and more, but still, due to weakness of heart, one is still not able to be firmly situated. And then sometimes aparad is there, towards the holy names, towards the deities, towards the devotees, towards the Dham, towards ordinary beings. And that will check one's progress. And then Sarup Brahma, not having complete knowledge of the identity of the Supreme Lord, and the process of devotional service and one's relationship with the Lord, one's existence beyond this material world. But in the association of the devotees, the advanced devotees, it is more easy to advance because the advanced devotees are fully absorbed in devotional life. They have realized the purport of the Vedic literatures, and therefore they are able to help the conditioned souls. So Krishna is explaining to Arjuna about the different kinds of this faith, and so we have to try to understand that. And if you analyze it, if you read the Bhagavad-Gita in the association of the devotees, you can clearly understand the subject matter. Here he will explain also Krishna that those who worship the demigods, the end mode of goodness, those who who are worshipping ordinary persons, or even sometimes even demoniac persons, they are in the mode of passion. And those who worship ghosts and spirits, they are in mode of ignorance. That is for the ordinary person. But we should understand, even for the devotees, according to the association of modes of material nature, the faith will be accordingly. So therefore we have to be introspective, and we have to try to elevate oneself from one stage to a higher stage to a higher stage in the association of the devotees, so that one can be firmly fixed in goodness, and then one can come to the transcendental stage, and then one should try to remain on the transcendental stage, on the transcendental platform. But it will take time, and only when the heart is purified, when the anattas, they are removed from the heart, from the consciousness. Prabhupada is mentioning also the situation of the heart, that is very important. The heart, the situation of the heart. So, not only what we are doing is important, but how we are doing, the consciousness, that is ultimately most important. Of course, the consciousness is all pervading in the body, but actually the soul is situated in the heart, and that is to be understood. And then, so, therefore we also say we should worship Krishna, not just with the intellect, with the consciousness, but with the heart. Heartfelt feelings should be there. And then we should try to see Krishna everywhere, especially in our heart. Premanjana charita bhakti vilochanena santa sadeva hiryeshu vilokayanti yam shama sundaram achintu gunasarupam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So we try to worship Govinda. Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami, the original person. And so with love, premanjana, with bhakti, with priti, love and affection should be there. And then we can see Krishna in the heart. Prabhupada is writing in the half of the heart, in the heart of the heart. So in the innermost corner of our heart, Krishna is there. Beyond the gross and material body, Krishna is transcendently situated. And we as living entities, ultimately we are also transcendently situated. So we should come to the platform, transcendental platform. Then we can see the beautiful form of Shyama Sundar, Achinti Guna Sarupam, Tribang Lalit Shyama Sundar. His form bent in three places. Sikipichi Molin, who has a peacock feather in his crown or in the turban, or sometimes sometimes he doesn't even have a turban or a crown, but simply in the hair is putting the peacock feather. Sometimes he has a top knot, putting the hair up, and has a motimala. He has a pearl necklace is there, a string of pearl by which he's tying the hair, and then he has a peacock feather. So that Krishna that can be seen if we are transcendently situated in the heart. And then even before the eyes we can see Krishna, before our eyes. So when we are properly situated, in purified consciousness, when the anattas are removed from the consciousness from the heart, when one is fixed in the service to the Lord, in consciousness, nishta, and then one has attained transcendental taste for chanting the holy names, for serving Krishna, for hearing Krishna Katha, speaking Krishna Katha. And Krishna, Navagana Shyamam, so is very beautiful, just like the dark blue rain clouds which you can see during the rainy season. Even now still the rainy season is almost finished, but still a few clouds are there that will help us to remember Krishna, Krishna's beautiful transcendental form. So that is given, some explanation is given of the beauty of Krishna. Because we haven't seen Krishna in a conditioned state. So therefore some material examples are given. So we may be understanding how beautiful Krishna is. But only when we are properly situated on the transcendental plane, then we can really see Krishna and his beautiful form beyond this material world, beyond all material descriptions even, and examples which are given in the scriptures. So that beautiful form of Krishna that we are looking for. So those who have been able to absorb themselves by being in the mode of goodness and then coming to the transcendental platform, they can perceive this beautiful form. And then, so further it is explained in the scriptures, throughout the Vedic literatures, by the acharyas, the dhyayam. So we should remember Vrindaranya, in Vrindavan, in this forest of Vrindavan, Krishna, Radha Saitam Krishnam, who is always accompanied by Srimati Radharani, but also surrounded by the gopas and the cows and the calves at the banks of the Jamuna sometimes, or sometimes at Govardhan, different places, is for performing his pastimes with his associates. Tribang Lalit, so, and then Lasat Pita Patam, wearing a yellow pitambar vesh, yellow dhoti and chadar. Of course, then sometimes he's changing his dhoti and his chadar, especially when he's going to Radhakund, performing his pastimes there. The different kunjas are there of the Ashtasakis. So then they have different colors of the kunjas, and sometimes they go there, perform the pastimes, Krishna and the gopis, Radharani and the different gopis. And then they have the similar color just like the kunj. So therefore even in deity worship, we dress the deities in different colors, according to the pastimes also. And because Krishna likes variety, and even the conditioned souls, anyone likes variety, to do every day the same thing, eat the same thing, dress the same way, so there might be sometimes a little boring, materially speaking also. So in the transcendental realm, everything is there, variety is there, and it is never boring. It is ever fresh. Krishna is ever fresh. Nava Yovanam is ever fresh. And the damsels of Braj, the gopis, are ever fresh. Satchidananda Swarup. And the relationship is ever fresh. It is always like first time seeing Krishna for everyone in the spiritual realm. So beautiful whenever they are seeing Krishna. So when one is on this platform of Nishta Ruchi, or becoming completely attached to Krishna, Asakti, and detached from the Bhautika Shakti, from the material attachment, then at that time, so the faith will be actually mature, Drir Virishwas, and that will be unshakable. Under no circumstances then the devotee will give up the service of Krishna. Even in the greatest difficulties, he will serve Krishna. And if sometimes, even in the transcendental exchange, Krishna will disappear from the vision of his devotee, then the devotee will cry out. Or sometimes great difficulties are there. But the devotee is never swerving from serving Krishna. He's never deviating, he's never giving up. Is always at the shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. So that is the strong faith, the transcendental faith, Paramattik Shraddha. But it will take some time to be firmly fixed. But at least we should be in the mode of goodness, and even there in the mode of goodness, one will always be trying to serve Krishna despite all difficulties. Whereas those in the mode of passion and ignorance, they may serve for some time. There's some difficulty, then they find it difficult. And they lose faith in God or Krishna. So therefore it is explained according to one's association with the modes of material nature, the faith will be accordingly. And therefore it is recommended to be in the mode of goodness. Then the faith will be strong, and then the determination will be strong. Then one can surrender to Krishna, and then there will be reciprocation. So, by the mercy of the Supreme Lord, especially in the age of Kali, by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the associates of Mahaprabhu, we have the opportunity to advance rapidly on this path of devotional service. By chanting the holy names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So the spiritual master has given different processes for the conditioned soul to be engaged in devotional activities, but the main activity is chanting the holy names, the Mahamantra. But even there, in the beginning stage, one has to be engaged in various other activities, because the mind is very flickering, and it is not easy to control the senses. And when there is no taste for chanting the holy names in the beginning, then one has to engage the senses and the mind in different activities. And then slowly, gradually, one will have faith in the process, in Krishna, and especially in the chanting of the holy names. And one is able to chant the holy names very nicely. So 3 stages are there of chanting. Aparanam, Abhasnam and Shuddhanam. In the beginning, when the consciousness is not pure, then sometimes some offenses are performed, although the devotee doesn't want to perform any offense, but still due to conditioned nature it may happen. But one has to continue and try one's best to chant nicely the holy names, clearly and hear nicely, and then one has to pray to Guru Gauranga Krishna, to Krishna Nam, so we may be able to understand the non-difference of Krishna and Krishna Nam. Nam and Chitamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddha Nirvito Avinatva Nama Naminhada. Krishna Krishna Nam are non different. By the mercy of the Spiritual Master, by being in contact with the advanced devotees, by service attitudes, seva bhav, seva vritti, by serving the Spiritual Master and then following his instructions, then one will be able to chant nicely the holy names. And then one will be able to understand that Krishna, Krishna Nama are no different. But for that one has to first serve the Spiritual Master and under his instructions perform various services, and especially also worshipping the deities. That is important. By worshipping the deities, seeing the deities, offering something to the deities, and then hearing about pastimes of Mahaprabhu and Krishna, that will help us to understand that Krishna, Krishna Nama are no different. And then we can take full shelter of Krishna Nam and become free from offenses. And then the glories of the holy names will be revealed, and then everything will be revealed by chanting of the holy names. Krishna Sarup will be revealed, our Sarup, our relationship. Everything is revealed by chanting the holy names. So therefore we have to follow the process with faith, and especially one has to make sure that one will chant the holy names very nicely. And that will help us to advance rapidly in spiritual life, to become transcendently situated. So, of course, there is japa and there is kirtan or sankirtan. Individual chanting on the japa mala and then chanting with the devotees. In the beginning stage, it may be difficult to chant nice japa, but one has to practice. And then one has to associate with the devotees. And then in kirtan may be easier if many devotees are chanting together, especially if the advanced devotees are there. Then one will get a taste for kirtan. But ultimately one has to see that one's japa is good also. In the beginning, therefore, it is recommended one chant in the association of the Vaishnavas who are chanting nicely. Then it will be easier to concentrate, otherwise the mind will be going here and there. But still, one has to try one's best, whatever is the situation, even if sometimes you may be alone. But then one has to try, and ultimately one has to try to conquer the mind and the senses. Because even sometimes in the association of the devotees, the mind is going here and there, because the mind is very flickering. And the mind always wants something new. So therefore we have to understand that, and we have to try to trick the mind, or educate the mind, control the mind in various ways. And but again here sometimes variety. The mind wants variety, so we may give the mind some variety. But we have to try to control the mind, not that the mind is controlling us. So there's By constant practice one is able to do that, and by praying to Guru Gauranga one will be able to, whatever the situation is there, wherever one is, one will be able to chant nicely. And that has to be achieved. Abhas Nam. Then one is chanting, one is able to hear nicely. And one is able to push away the material thoughts which are coming in all the time. And then one can pray to Guru and Gauranga, and then some realizations will be there, some revelations will be there. And then one can proceed in chanting Namabhas, and then Nam Ruchi will be there, taste for the holy names. And then one will understand that Krishna Nam is no different. And then one can remember what one has heard, what one has read, and one can remember the form of the Lord which one has served, the deity form. And then one can rapidly advance and then come to the platform of Shuddha Nam. And then Krishna will manifest without endeavor. So, but it is a gradual process and it takes some time. So therefore it is explained by Rupa Goswami, Utsanishchay Daryat Tatta Karma Pravatanat Sangatyago Sato Vrite Sadbhir Bhaktir Prasiddhati. That bhakti becomes Sadbhya Bhakti Prasiddhati, Prasiddha becomes perfect by always being enthusiastic despite all difficulties, and by Nishta, Utsanishchay Daryat, by being firm. Platform of Nishta should be attained. No matter what, even on the platform of Nishta, some anatas are there actually. But the devotee is not disturbed. Even if there is a cause of disturbance from three klesh, three kinds of miseries are there, adhyatmika, devottika, didaivik. From other living entities, monkeys, mosquitoes, or even sometimes people, or natural difficulties which are there, too hot to cold, earthquake, or flood, whatever, so many difficulties may come anytime. But then actually the most important is actually the most difficult, and actually the only difficulty ultimately is adhyatmic. From one's own body and mind, especially the mind. If the mind is well trained, if we can control the mind, if we can tolerate the mind, then everything actually can be tolerated, even physical difficulties, natural difficulties, whatever. If the mind is controlled or tamed or tolerated. So sometimes we simply have to tolerate the mind, and we have to go on with this strong determination, nishta. And even so some unwanted things may still be in the heart, even on the platform of nishta, even ruchi, even one has taste for the holy names, for serving. But even because the process is gradual, even some impurities are there, it will take time to clear everything, and one has to be careful and guard against offenses, against the modes of material nature, against Maya, who is always trying to pull the devotee down also. And if one is not careful, then again one may come to a lower stage from a higher stage. So therefore we have to be very careful and cautious, intelligent, taking shelter of the Vaishnavas, the spiritual master, externally and internally. The spiritual master may not always be there externally, but then we have to understand he's there in our heart, especially after taking an initiation. The connection is there. And we should understand that ultimately Mahaprabhu is in the heart, Krishna is in the heart. They're very near to us, more than anything else in this material world, more than our best friend in this material world. We may have a good friend, a good relationship, or husband and wife, or best friends, or whatever. But Krishna is most dear, is most near and most dear, most close, and is the best friend ultimately. Even sometimes good friends they have difficulty and then they may part the ways, or even due to that also, husband and wife, sometimes some difficulties there. But with Krishna, Krishna is always there. So, He's always there and He will never disappoint us. So therefore we have to look inside the heart towards Krishna. Krishnanmukh looks towards Krishna, not Bahyamukh, outside what is outside in this world. It's all temporary. But we have to look inside. That Guru is there in the heart, Krishna is there, Mahaprabhu is there, all the associates are there. And that is actually the real relationship. And we have to come to that platform. So therefore the advanced devotee, they can, externally they may be alone, but they are never alone. Even those doing nirjan bhajan, those who are actually doing proper bhajan, they may be externally alone, but they are never alone. They are always with Guru, Gauranga and Krishna, connected. So therefore there may be any place, any time they can chant peacefully. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we should try to come to that platform, transcendental platform, and then have the transcendental relationship with Guru, Hari Guru Vaishnav. And even amongst the Vaishnavas, so the transcendental relationship should be there, beyond this material body. So, but it is not so easy to realize completely. Theoretically, we can understand by good fortune that Krishna is the Supreme Being and we have this eternal relationship. But then we have to practically realize. So, Gyan is their knowledge, but Vigyan, that has to be attained, the realization. And as Krishna is saying to Brahma, in the Bhagavatam it is explained, before he spoke the 4 verses, Chatushlok, he said, Jnanam paraguyam me yad vijnanam samanvitam. Sarahasyam tadangasya grahana gadidam maya. Please accept this, what I have given you, what I am giving you. So this knowledge, which is very confidential. And included in the knowledge is the Vigyan, the realization. But how it is realized, Sarahasyam, it is also mystery. Tadangasya, Anga means the limbs of devotional service, the paraphernalia. Like Chosatang, 64 limbs are there. When you practice these devotional activities, especially the chanting of the holy names, then the realization will be there. So we hear, we read, we study the scriptures, we hear from the spiritual master, then we practice, and then the realization will be there. But first we have to hear. But simply hearing is not enough. But then we have to apply the knowledge. And then there will be realization. So, but it will take some time to become fully realized. But one should try one's best to make as much advancement as possible in this life. Hare Krishna. Any question? Everything is very clear. Yes, good. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. And take prasad. Okay, one question. Yes. In the right consciousness, yes. Yes. It is challenging, yes. How to be enthusiastic? Yes. Yeah, this is a good question, because yes, there are many challenges in this material existence. Many difficulties are coming on the path, So how to remain enthusiastic? As is explained here by Krishna, or in this, not only this chapter but other chapters also. So, and as it is just the discussion is there about the faith in the mode of goodness and then passion and ignorance. So one has to be actually in the mode of goodness. If one is in the mode of goodness, then despite all difficulties, so goodness means actually the light, it means knowledge also. So one has to be established in knowledge. That is the mode of goodness. That is one of the symptoms of the mode of goodness, that is knowledge. The light, the knowledge is there. So we have to understand that the difficulties are there, and we have to understand that the modes of material nature are there. And because of that, the conditioned soul is struggling and facing so many difficulties. First of all, it is the nature of the material world that difficulties will be always there. Even the pure devotees in this world, they have to face so many difficulties. But because they are pure on the transcendental platform, so they will simply continue. Nothing can stop them. But if one is not yet on the platform, but is still on the modes of material nature, so therefore one has to try to be in the mode of goodness. And so one of the characteristics are there that in the mode of goodness, knowledge is there. One is fixed in knowledge. And so one will understand that the difficulties are there due to this material world, the nature of the material world, due to my also being involved in this material world, due to being under the modes of material nature, and it is not possible to be always in goodness, as Krishna is explaining also. Sometimes mode of goodness is there, sometimes mode of passion, sometimes mode of ignorance. And practically in the conditioned stage, nothing you can do about it. You want to be always in goodness, but in the conditioned state it is not possible. And sometimes mode of passion will be there, sometimes mode of ignorance. But then we have to tolerate. Even it is explained in the 6th chapter about the yogi. So it's understanding that sometimes that mode of passion is there, or mode of ignorance. And then it's simply tolerating. So we have to tolerate. We have to become tolerant of our own existence, conditioned state. But yes, we have to be in a mode of goodness, and we have to be situated in knowledge. So sambandha jnana has to be there. I belong to Krishna. But because, and I'm not this body, I'm spirit soul, but because I'm not pure yet, because the mode of material nature are still there. Sometimes passion is there, sometimes ignorance is there. And sometimes therefore one is not enthusiastic because of the mode of passion and ignorance. That is the only reason why one is not enthusiastic. Because the modes of material nature are there. So we should be knowing, if one is feeling not enthusiastic, that is actually usually because of the lower modes of material nature. But then despite not being enthusiastic, one has to continue engaging in devotional service, and one has to know and understand that now some difficulties there due to the modes of material nature, but that will go away. That will go. Because the nature, modes of material nature, they are changing. Every day we can see. In the morning, for example, morning time before sunrise, everything is quiet, beautiful, and that is Brahma Muhurta. That is a mode of goodness. But then the sun is rising. After the sunrise, everyone is coming alive. The birds, the animals, and early morning maybe a few birds are there, and sometimes some dogs are already up, or some monkeys, but not much. Almost everyone is sleeping. But then as the sun is rising, and then everyone is waking up, and the animals are there, and then the dogs are fighting, and then the people are doing their job, and then mode of passion comes there also. And then evening time, so that is considered then mode of ignorance is there for some time, so when everything is dark. And so that is that during the day, the different times are there, with goodness, passion and ignorance is there. And but even at any time of the day, according to one's also nature, and the modes of material nature, so even in the morning time, somebody can be in the mode of ignorance, and we can see practically. Some people, they are not getting up in the morning, because then they are in ignorance. Even are trying to get up, but then they are not able to do much, because they are in ignorance. Of course, devotees, they are getting up, but then you can see some devotees, then after Mangalatik, they go back to the room and they go to sleep. Even in the ashram, you can go and see. But those who are actually in the mode of goodness, they will never sleep after Mangalatik, even if they are tired. Because they had some rest, even if it is little, for 5 hours maybe only, because they were maybe up for some seva or something. And they will know, I should not sleep, and they will not sleep. Because they know at that time I should chant, even if I'm tired. But then you may do some yoga asana, maybe some yoga practice. No, if you're too tired, then you cannot chant. And so, but others who are not so fixed in knowledge and purified in consciousness, they will just sleep. And you can see, you can go to the ashram, even many brahmacharis, they're sleeping. Want to speak at home also, maybe there. And then, for example, those who are in the mood of goodness, even during the day, they are in goodness. Especially then those who are worshipping the deities, they're worshipping the Lord, they are not affected by mode of passion or less. And evening at time, not affected by ignorance. They're in the goodness. So that may also, but basically there's a time of goodness, there's a time of passion, there's a time of ignorance during the day. Every day it is like that. And then even you can go different places. Like you go, for example, to the temple, then the goodness is there. It is transcendental, but not completely transcendental, because not everyone is transcendently situated. Even sometimes in front of the deities, people are fighting. We know, we have seen, pushing each other, which is mode of passion and ignorance. But relatively it is easier to be in the mode of goodness, because everyone is trying to be in the temple to worship Krishna, God. But you go to some other place, you go to Delhi, even if you are a person in mode of goodness, there's chances that you have overcome by the mode of material nature of passion and ignorance, because everyone is there running around like mad in Delhi, earning money, sense gratification, passion and ignorance. That is more difficult than to be in the mode of goodness. But whatever, we have to try to be in the mode of goodness, and we have to know what is the mode of goodness. We have to know, so therefore also the places in the mode of goodness, places in the mode of passion, and even in the eating, the foodstuffs in the mode of goodness, foodstuffs mode of passion and ignorance are there. So we know, we should know. And so we have to try to see that we are in a mode of goodness, we eat the things in the mode of goodness, we are in a place in the mode of goodness, we are acting in the mode of goodness. And then we can, when we are in the mode of goodness, it is easier to remain enthusiastic, despite all difficulties. And but even if sometimes you are in passion and ignorance is there, which is almost unavoidable when you are not pure, as mentioned here also, then we just have to push on and know that the times are changing. And then, for example, you try to be with the devotees when you feel the passion is there or ignorance. Even if it's not possible, then you pray, but you should know that the modes are always changing. Then you just have to tolerate. Even like the seasons, they are changing. Summer season was there, then the rainy season, now autumn is coming, and then the winter is coming. So they're always changing. Modes of material nature are changing. So that we just have to tolerate. Therefore Krishna says also, Matras pasastu kanti asitoshna sukadugadaha agamapi niristam tam statikshasa bharata. So we have to tolerate happiness and distress, heat and cold, We have to tolerate. And then, so one has to be tolerant, and one has to be humble, one has to be respectful, and one has to try to be in the mode of goodness. One has to try to be in the light. Tamasi ma jyotir gamayaha. Give up the darkness and be in the light. And so then you can remain enthusiastic. But it is not so easy. Easier to say than to do. But we should try. And we have to pray. And simply go on. And then as we go on, then it will be more easy. But even the advanced devotees, they have to be careful. And sometimes they are swept away. And we have seen, practically speaking. And even in the scriptures, we have seen, even Bharad Maharaj, he was on the platform of Bhav. Usually from the platform of Bhav, you will not fall down. It is very rare, almost not possible. Because that is Uttamavasta. But just to show that one has to be very careful, the example is given there. And he was compassionate, which is the nature of devotee, and he helped a small deer. And he became attached. And then he became too much attached. And he neglected his seva. And then he fell from that position for the time being. But he was protected also by the Lord. So Krishna will protect us even if for the time being we may be not able to be properly situated on the transcendent platform in the mode of goodness. Sometimes mode of passion may be there, but Krishna will protect us. So we have to, so therefore we have to simply pray to Krishna. We have to cry out to Krishna also when the difficulty is there. Like Draupadi was crying when she was in difficulty. But even individually, because mostly we don't have such difficulty as the Pandavas. Our difficulties are insignificant, but still, for us they are big. But then we have to learn to cry to Krishna. On one point of view, it is saying that we should not bother Krishna with our problems, but at the same time, Krishna is our only shelter. And even so in difficult situations, it is explained, if we cry out to Krishna, still it is considered as being properly situated. And yabilashita sunyam jnana karmanavritam anukulina Krishna nushiranam bhaktiruttamam. So we have to cry out to Krishna also. Or we have to cry out to Guru Gauranga and Krishna for help, and they will help us. And then the difficulty, they will go away. Okay? Hare Krishna.